Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Monday Night Live. Welcome back to Monday Night Live. Sorry about last week. It was crazy. It went on. It's still crazy. But, we're getting it done. So, sorry about not having a feed last week. It was nuts. I didn't get back in time. It's a bunch of traffic, bunch of weather. It was goofy. But I made it. This week, I have 3 new paintings for you to look at. And someone will win one of those, so that'll be fun. I also want to get that little airbrush holder done that we started. It's going back and forth with Spray Gunner a little bit, and they seem to be very receptive on working with me on making sure that gets given away. So we'll figure that out too. So we're going to finish that tonight as much as I can. I can see people jumping on. Hello, everyone. I'll say hi in just a second because most of the tech is working tonight, which is pretty impressive. So I'm happy with that. But that's what I got. No announcements really. We're just going to get going and get at it. So let's switch things around and we'll do it. Let's go to this one. All right. And I'll say hello. I don't know where this whole, whoever talks the most gets the big fat crown came from. But it's kind of neat. Hello, Dan. Hello, honey. Mr. She's younger. What is up, sir? Chris Garcia, love seeing all your work, Chris. It's awesome. Ian Hart, hello. Rick Lotto, what's good? Robert O'Malley, what's happening? Michael McClung. Michael, I'm glad you got your airbrush holder done. I'm glad I was hanging around for that. That was great. Mr. Wayne, what's up, buddy? Yay. Grumpy, what's good? That's the other thing, too. Make sure I got everyone. Mark, what's happening? There we go, Mark Reeves. I think that's Mark Reeves. Actually, there are some little bits of housekeeping. I have talked to a few people that we all know and love, and also some other people who have they're working out making the YouTube transition. I forgot a lot about what it takes to make comments on YouTube because I've been subscribed or I've had an account for so long I never even think about it. But what I didn't remember was that while you can watch YouTube videos without signing in, you can't comment, and that's a bummer. So I just wanted to say hello to the people who were watching over on Facebook who are now watching on YouTube who are not signed in. I totally understand if you don't want to create an account. That's totally cool. We definitely miss you. If you're working on that, we can't wait to see you again. And that's what's going on. So I wanted to say hello to everyone who was in that category. There was something else too that I was going to say about that kind of thing, but I can't remember what it is. So back to it. All right. Yeah, what's up? Yay. Oh, honey, you're awesome. That was what I was going to say, but I'll get into that in a second. Honey, thank you. What Honey just did was she threw $20 in the tip jar there. That is gigantic. That really helps things going, to keep things going. And I deeply appreciate it. Todd, what's up, buddy? Yay. Scott McKay, hello. Those super chats and that kind of thing, that really helps. And then of course what really, really, really helps, because I do this and this is what I do, getting my art into people's collections is what really keeps the lights on and keeps things moving. So everyone who purchases a piece of art, anything from all the way down to a print, all the way up to an original piece of art, that is what keeps me going. The YouTube stuff is amazing. Scott can attest to this. The ads don't pay anything really unless you're a gigantic channel. So when someone does what Honey does, that's way more than YouTube pays in a month for a channel my size. So thank you very much for that. And thank you for everyone who's considering buying art. That's massive too. But let's get at it. We have stuff to do. No, we don't want that one. We want this one. All right. I'm going to show you the 3 here, and they span a few weeks. What I did was I went back, since there was no feed last week, I went back through a few feeds to get some suggestions. Incidentally, everyone who made suggestions on the feed 2 weeks ago, they're the ones who are eligible. So you didn't lose out by making suggestions on the 7th. You are the group that's in the win for this one. Yeah, Gary, thank you, Gary. Awesome. All right, yes, Scott knows. All right, today's cheers to is again, I always give Mike Stevenson credit for this. You can't really see it, but it's here. It's Rhinegeist Truth. He is the one that infected me with that knowledge, and I love it. So that's what's going on there. All right. Speaking of huge thank yous, last on the 7th, the people who gave those super thanks were Grumpy RC Flyer, Honey, The Bug, and also Ryan, Joe Baggy. So thank you so much, you guys. That means a lot. All right, I know. Shut up. Let's do it. I keep falling asleep. Well, it's like 2:30 in the morning there, so I get it. I appreciate you being here, bud. Incidentally, that's the other thing I was going to say. Everything that needed to go out has shipped, except for one. Les Cook has a piece coming, so that's going out tomorrow because that's a big thing, and got to do that. So anyway, all right. So let's do it. So, yeah, we got that. There we go. All right. Let's start off with Mr. Ian Hart. Ian is longing to win a painting, so I'm going to do a bunch of his suggestions until he actually wins one. So, Ian, I apologize for when these suggestions were made. Like I said, I went back about 3 weeks, but this was definitely Ian's. Ian asked for Lara Croft. I haven't done this one yet, so I had a little bit of a movie thing. So that's how this one came out. Lara Croft is, what's going on there? There we go, it's focused. That's weird. She has a very large nose in this, from what you guys are seeing, but she doesn't really. Anyway, Lara Croft, I grabbed the image from Tomb Raider, which is a 2001 film starring Angelina Jolie. Well, the movie originally got negative reviews, and I think that was because it was such an iconic storyline before that. Initially, it went on to grossing $275 million, making it one of the most successful video game to movie adaptations ever. So that's my Angelina Jolie, and that one is just called Lara. That's funny how big her nose looks there. I don't know why that is, but it doesn't really look like that, so that's it. All right. Yeah, Grumpy, yours is on the way. Absolutely on the way. I got them all out. Next is Sean. Sean asked for Riddick. Riddick, the Vin Diesel movie is probably one of my favorite series. I had a blast with this. So this is my Riddick. And the Riddick series started with the 2000 film Pitch Black. The film's success really resulted in 2 more films, The Chronicles of Riddick and then the movie Riddick. And there's the new, I guess, Part 4, Furia, which is in production now. So Vin Diesel was awesome in this. And like this is one of the movies that I can watch over and over again, any one of them. So that's my Riddick. And this is a 543C. So that's how that one came out. And that one, of course, is just called 343s. Gary, it's been too long that they've been 5, and sooner or later I'll get back to doing 5. Once the inventory drops a little bit on them, I showed you guys, I have over 200 of them here, and so it doesn't make too much sense for me to do 5 every week if they're just going to end up in the box. So I think once the things kind of get back to normal, and we start moving more of them like we used to, then I'll jump back to 5. But it doesn't make sense for me to have like 500 of them in stock. All right, last but not least, if you remember here on YouTube, you know what this is. This one comes to us from Fitbewa. I know, I tried that, Gary, but that didn't even work before. I tried to. I left some of them at like super discount, like $50. And I still have some of them. So yeah, I don't want to do that because I do spend a lot of time on them, and I give enough of them away as it is. You know what I'm saying? All right. So finally, last one is the beta fish, and this was from Steve Butkus. Steve asked for Siamese fighting fish, and this is what it came out with. So this is a really cool one. I don't know if you can really catch it here, but you can definitely see it live. What I used was the Chroma Air, the aluminum paint for this fish to make him really like change color and glow. So if you want to see how I did that, you can watch the time-lapse video tomorrow, which will be up, and if you remember, you can watch it now because you have early access, and now it's called beta. So these fish are native to Cambodia. While they are highly territorial and do fight, they were originally bred for entertainment. They have a special labyrinth organ that allows them to breathe from the surface, which is kind of cool, or low oxygen kind of things. Ooh, I'll do this one so you can see them better. And what else we got? The males are extremely protective of their young. In nature, they are brown and green. The domesticated versions are the ones that come in these super bright colors. So again, humans messing with stuff is the reason why we have fish that look like this. They are usually just brown and green. Huge note here, you can usually find these little guys at everywhere. Pet stores, which are cool, but you can also find them at like fairs and stuff, like people selling fish in jars, fish in bowls. Don't buy those. They're fish, basically like fish mills. It's cruel to put these things in bowls. Again, they have that labyrinth organ, which allows them to survive in low oxygen settings like a cup or a bowl, but it's not ideal. It's interesting, a super quick story. My daughter got one of these as a birthday gift way back when she was a little kid, and that's a terrible birthday thing to give out to all the kids. I mean, we got a fish tank for it and everything, but we literally got it in a cup. It was horrible. So anyway, that's beta. B-E-T-T-A. So on the website it's wrong, or on the YouTube channel it's 2 T's, not 1. So there's your 3. Congratulations. This is a 543 C2, C2, whatever. It is what it is. So there you go. So if you win tonight, you can choose one of those, or you can just go online and pick whatever you want. That's how that works. All right, so let's get at it. We're going to work on this airbrush holder, and I'm super excited. I'll show you kind of where I'm at with it, and I'm also going to kind of tell you what I've planned for it. Well, I'll check in on the comments too here. Thanks, Dan. Wait! Yes! Paula. So Paula is Paula Davis, and I was talking to her over last week because I missed her, and and so she figured it out. That's awesome. I love it. And Mark Reeves is Mark. I know Wink is also working on getting hooked up. But again, the weird thing was, it's it's not. I forgot that you had to actually sign up for YouTube. Like, you don't have to. You don't have to pay for YouTube Premium to comment, but later, like, all right, so I use YouTube a lot. Like, I have it running in the studio all the time. So I pay for YouTube Premium because I don't want the ads. That's how you get rid of the ads. You just do YouTube Premium, and then you can do a bunch of other stuff. It has music and all kinds of other stuff. I think it's worth it, as far as a streaming platform. I use YouTube a lot, but I'm not trying to sell that. So, but if those ads really annoy you and you find yourself on YouTube a lot, that's the next step for you. All right, so here's what I got. I'm going to get closer for you. This is in case you're wondering, I got this on Amazon. It's just a camera mount, and it's articulated. It's got the 2 clamps on each side, and then it's got this barrel in the middle that kind of loosens everything. And when you loosen the center screw right here, it releases the tension on the middle part and allows you to just basically move this in every possible way. It's very cool. I thought I'd use it for one of the cameras, but I ended up not using it for the cameras. But when I got this little thing, I made a little stand for it, and that's what I've been using. I just clamp it on the bottom of the Vision Air because that's wide enough to fit on the Vision Air, and that's what I'm using. So I had a magnet attached to it last week, but this is working out way better without the magnet. So I'm going to get you guys much closer so you can kind of see what's going on with this. No, I want that this way. And as I'm getting this ready, so you can see I've kind of been working on this, and I'll get you guys closer, but I've got all the tentacles done, or as my dad used to say when talking about squid, the testicles, which is fun. And my Aunt Paula is on. That's my mom's sister, and so that was a story we always heard when Dad was invited over to dinner one time when they were having squid, and Dad had mentioned that he didn't want to eat the testicles. So there you go. All right. Oh boy. All right, so let me show you. You've seen all this. I'm going to get the camera really close so you can get the deets on this. And if you are not familiar, or if you weren't here when we did this originally, you can go back a few live feeds and see this to kind of see how I did this. What I did so far is I've done all the tentacles. So real quick recap, the way I did this is it's a black base like this underneath everything, and that gives it the shadow underneath. And then what I did was I did the main highlights, I guess, the main grayish color with just white. So I sprayed a little bit of white on that, and then I sprayed the green in there and the black, and then I painted in these little blue veins everywhere. And then the last step was to go over it with Createx Wicked Cosmic Sparkle Silver. And what's really cool about that is it started to cover up these veins to make them look like they're underneath the tentacle skin, that thin skin. So that's kind of what I did. That's what I was working on. I didn't do the little suckers. The suckers are done down here. We did that on the last feed. I was thinking about working on the skull again, but we'll see. I don't really have a plan yet. So we'll see what happens. But let me keep going on what I'm doing with this. The other thing I did with this too, which you can just barely see on the camera, I'll focus this so you can see it, is this little airbrush holder up top. The part that actually holds the airbrush, and I'll turn it again so you can see it. There's a little holder up here, and the idea is you take your airbrush and you just kind of put it in the holder there, and it holds it like that. That's the idea. So what I did was with this part here, I was thinking about doing this like a silver bullet, like silver color. So I started messing around with that. This isn't the final silver, but you can kind of get the idea. This is kind of a brushed silver right now, and what I used for that is the Molotow liquid chrome effect. And when you paint this on, like if I were to paint this on straight on, it looks like chrome. It's crazy. This stuff is amazing. It's solvent based. I don't know what it's made out of, but it's alcohol based. So yeah, it's crazy. So I'm thinking about that. This is what it looks like, and then I sprayed it with a little bit of a clear just to kind of give it that brushed aluminum look. So I'm thinking about that. I'm not 100% sold on that yet. If I do spray that, if I do end up doing that, I'm not going to do the inside here because that's where the airbrush goes. As we give this away, I mean, whoever gets it can do really whatever they want with it. But I would probably suggest to them to not use it as a functional airbrush holder, meaning, like I have my Vision Air airbrush holders over there, right here. So I wouldn't use it like that because you're going to get paint all over it and it's going to get ruined. So I wouldn't do that. But people can do whatever they want. If it was mine, what I would do is I would take like my very first airbrush, like my Iwata HPSB, and I would put that in this airbrush holder, and I would leave it on the shelf, kind of thing. That's what I envision it happening. A couple other things before we start getting painting, and we will start getting painting, I promise. Since now this is going to be kind of a big deal, I'm not sure what we're going to do with it as far as spray gunner goes, but we'll come up with something. I'm considering doing gold leaf on all these rocks down here. I don't know if you can see this. Let me show you. So there are a bunch of little stones down the bottom, like it sits on this base, and then there are these rocks. So I'm thinking about doing gold leaf on all this to make it look like it's sitting on a pile of gold. I think that'd be really, really cool. It's going to be difficult to do, and I'm going to have to, kind of plan out the masking for it because it has to go on last. I can't put it on and then spray because it'll get all foggy. So I'll have to do it last, and then I, have to mess with it. The other thing I was thinking about doing is maybe doing a faux wooden base on this. And again, this is all because now, we're going to give it away. It's going to be a special thing. And that's what I got. All right, so that's the plan. So we can do suckers, but we already did suckers, so I don't want to do that. So we could work on the mask today, or I could finish up the skull. I think either one of those will work really, really well. Skull. I think skull would be the way to go. My plan for the mask in the front is because spray gunner's colors are orange. That's their main color. The rubber part of the spray mask here, the respirator, that's going to be bright orange. That'll give it that spray gunner look. Does it say spray gunner on both sides? It does. So yeah, it's a spray gunner on both sides. I might do something with their little logo right here, but we'll see. We'll see. And then I'll sign it on the top here somewhere too. I know, right? Shut up and paint. So let's work on the skull. I'll get you guys in a good spot for that. Since the skull is fun and everyone loves skulls. Or maybe I'll work on the leather strap for the mask. That might be cool too. Get you guys a bunch of light here, and I'll get you guys focused. So what I've done here so far is I've got the white on here from last time. Remember, the white was actually not white; it was like a bone color. So that's what's going on with that. Who else did I miss? I got everyone. I finally figured it out. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Oh, I missed all kinds of... Rick Lotta, hello. I missed everyone. Ron, you need to pick a painting. Oh, that's the other thing. Who's I talking to? Oh, if anyone sees James Cully. James, I forgot, where did I put it? I wrote it down. James was wondering why he wasn't on the list when he was making suggestions, because James won on, I think I wrote it here. I don't know, I wrote it somewhere, but James Cully already won. So he just had, I think he wasn't on when he won. So so he's got to pick a painting. So that's what's going on with that. All right, shut up and paint. Let's shut up and paint. All right, so I need that boiled egg, hard-boiled yolk color. This is this one. This is the next step. Yeah, we'll do the skull. Maybe we'll work on some of the strap and that kind of thing. Oh, there's a bolt here too on the side right here. If you could just barely see it. I'll show you that Molotov stuff. That's insane. So we got a full house today. That's good. All right. Brian Moore, what's up? If I didn't say hello. Steve, what's going on? All right. Yeah, today was fun. Today was doctor's visits and all kinds of fun stuff. I ended up pinching a nerve in my foot. Don't ask me how I did it, because I don't know. But I did. And so I ended up going and getting that looked at and sorted out. And everything's good there, but took up most of the morning. So that there's a reason for that. I'm not telling you my health issues because I want to. There is an end to that story. A lot of times when I'm running behind, Mondays are the day that I do open studio videos, like I record them on Mondays, and I did not get a chance to do this today. So what I may have to do, I'm going to try to do them tomorrow, but if I cannot get them done, you guys who are following the Tokyo painting on Wednesday, I may just go live. I may just record that episode live on Wednesday. So there will definitely be an open studio, but it'll either be pre-recorded or it'll be live. So it's fun when it's live because it's like this, it's like our live streams. The problem with it is I can't do any of the cool edits and all that stuff that I normally do with Open Studio. You guys in a good spot? Not really. I'll change you a little bit just so you can see more of Mr. Skull. Back you guys out a bit. There we go. That's better. Yeah, so again, I'm not sure. I talked to Artem at Spray Gunner right before I left for all my family stuff. And there's Artem right there. That's awesome. If you have any Spray Gunner questions, you can ask Artem right there. So anyway, I sent Artem a quick message, and then I ended up going to Massachusetts. So we've been kind of missing each other. And then I sent him another message today. And what I'd like to do is kind of work with them in giving this away. So I don't know what that means. We could do a bunch of things. We could do. I don't really want to do a raffle. I mean, we could do a raffle for it, but that's hard to manage. I definitely don't want to do a bidding type of thing. But maybe we can do something, and I'll talk to Artem about this too. Oh, Chris, thank you, buddy. Maybe we could do something like if you make a purchase over a certain amount, you're automatically entered. Maybe something like that. But I'll get with Artem and we'll figure it out. But again, what was nice about coming up with that I decided that I was going to give it away, is that I knew now that I could go nuts on it, you know, which is great. So whoever gets it will get something pretty special. I'm trying to read at the same time. That's awesome. And if you're not following Spray Gunner's channel, YouTube channel, do that. They have revamped it, and they are doing all kinds of new videos and everything, which are a blast. So I love that these companies are back on it and doing videos, or you know, doing videos in general. So makes me very happy. I think it's great for the industry. I think, you know, I know Coast Airbrush is, you know, they just moved, so they're kind of getting their feet back underneath them with a new place, and hopefully that means more live at fives with them. I miss Ken at Badger doing his Sunday thing. If you love Badger, just send Ken a message and say, hey, get back on it and do them. I love that. You know, Iwata has a great YouTube channel. They're starting to put out some videos. Createx, same thing there. So I think that's super important for the industry, and it helps everyone out, you know, gives us all the most current information on the stuff, you know. You're not hearing these things secondhand, you're actually hearing them from the companies, which is what we need. All right, good. So that's what I did, was I originally did that in the white color, but then I just went over it with that bone color to kind of like get that bone color kind of back in there. It's nice. The white covers very, very well. The bone color does kind of, sort of, but it's really just to use to kind of shift that, you know, that color to what it's supposed to be. All right, so let's swap out here for, I think what I used was a little bit of burnt umber, if I remember right. Oh, what I might have used, no, I didn't use it, but I should, if I still have it floating around. So I put it away, which is possible. Oh, and I'm not going to just, yeah, nice, Ian, that's awesome. Ian, Coast went through a big move. So they moved out of their building and then moved to a bigger building. And so I'm sure that had a lot to do with why they stopped their videos. But hopefully they'll get them back up now that they're up and running again. That would be lovely. And of course, you know, I don't have to mention Harder and Steenbeck. Their channel is great. They've always got great stuff going on. Yeah, let's use a little bit of I thought, why don't I have this here? It's gonna do a little bit of Blumber-ish stuff. I don't know why I can't find it though. Oh well, we know how to make it. So grab some umber here, a little bit of burnt umber, a little bit of black, and violet. Brian Moore, you're awesome, buddy. Thank you so much. Bonsai tree. Brian's on the list to win, too. Which is weird, Brian. I thought you already won, but I kept checking the list. I'm like, no, he hasn't won yet. That's bizarre. Some people, like, I feel like they've already won, and we do keep track, so that's good. But I swore, I thought you won, Brian, but you have not, so. All right. There's Mike Stevenson. Mike, I have a truth right now because, as you know, truth hurts. All right, so this is Blumber. If you haven't seen this, it's burnt umber and black. So what I'm going for, so color theory-wise, I know this is just an airbrush holder, right? But it's not. It's really something really cool. So I try to take that color theory everywhere I go, as far as, you know, how things balance out and making sure they're congruent and that kind of thing. So the skull I want to be like underwater skull color. Like, I'll show you the other side because the other side is done, in case you missed it on the last one. So that's what we're doing, which is kind of like underwater-y, but see how yellowy brown that is? The tentacles are silvery green. So those are the two basic colors. That's what basically divides the two of them, makes them pop out, makes them separate. But they're still, value-wise, they're close. Like if you squint your eyes, their value is pretty much the same. And that's good. It keeps this whole thing similar. I did that because I know that the nose of this thing, again, like we talked about, this rubber part is going to be like bright orange. And then the spray gunner logo down below, which you can just barely see here, that's going to be bright orange as well. So you have those pops of bright orange, and then the silver up top, which you can't see, it's on the airbrush holder. And then I'm also going to put silver, like a row of silver rivets right across, like going up the front of his skull, which will be a lot of fun. That'll tie together the bolts in the frame, and also the filters for the respirator are going to have silver accents on them. So all that silver will tie together. And then I'm going to have the gold. The gold is going to sit down the bottom in these, in all the rocks. It's going to be so like in your face that it's going to be fine just the way it is. But the gold is going to have that kind of brownish cast of this stuff going on in the skull too. So it all kind of pulls together. Get it? All right, now I know. Shut up and paint. So we're going to shut up and paint. And I see a bunch of people making 543 suggestions. If you are new, welcome, welcome, welcome. All you got to do is type 543 and make me a suggestion, and then you are in this thing to win. You don't have to be here next week. If I draw your name, you just got to check the channel the following week to see if you won. Because I don't send any messages out because it's been really hard to do that. But, it doesn't matter, if you're not here or if you miss it. Your win is good really forever till you pick your painting. So don't worry about, if you're not here the following week. All right, so this color re-emphasizes that, the shadow areas. What's nice is because I painted this whole thing with Autoborn Sealer black, I left areas like that are underneath, like underneath his jawbone here. That's really the Autoborn Sealer poking through. I just painted the white in the highlight areas. So now what I can do is I can go in with the brown and just kind of accentuate those shadows. And it gives me this really cool three-dimensional look, even more so than the print is giving me, the 3D print. Normally I would have done the whole skull all at once. But we did the other side as demo a few weeks ago. So what I need to do is I need to make sure that I keep an eye on the other side so that they look the same. I'm trying to keep an eye on the comments. What I might do, because I can, is move my tablet over so I can see what's going on. Oops. I don't know what I did there. What? There we go. Okay, there we go. Now I can see your comments. Ha! Brian, you won last year. Yeah, no, you can win. You can win every calendar year. So if you win, you're ineligible for the rest of the calendar year, and then that resets. So if you won last year, you can win again this year. What did I do for these little veins? Incidentally, you can get these, if you want to paint one, you can get these airbrush holders from Spray Gunner. They're about 35 bucks. Just go on, I think it's called, the SKU is Atom Holder, ATOM dash holder, or airbrush. Yeah, I just looked up airbrush holder and it came up. All right, so I did not do anything with those veins in there. I just left them the way they were, which is good. Hoorah, indeed, with the Marines. It's awesome. Steve, when spraying Autoborn Sealer, do you reduce it straight out of the bottle? So with Autoborn, you guys know I screw around with this paint all the time, much to the chagrin of Createx. I break the rules all the time, and that has its consequences. However, with Autoborn Sealer, I do not break the rules, or I try hard not to. So no, Ian. What I do is I'll spray them through a bigger gun like the Tritium, which has a 0.7 millimeter nozzle, or I do add a little bit of it, like a touch of extra reducer, and I can run that through an Eclipse CS with a 0.5 millimeter nozzle. So those two things will allow me to kind of do that. The problem is if you over reduce it to get this stuff, the Autoborn sealer, to go through a smaller brush, like the CS with a 3.5 or, you know, another 0.3 millimeter brush, what happens is you add too much reducer, it won't stick the way it should. And the whole point of the Autoborn sealer is that it sticks like crazy. So in order to do that, you got to follow the directions. So yeah. But yeah, these things are a blast. These things are a blast. I do have a plan for clearing this too. I don't know if we'll do it. Probably won't do it live, but if we do, that's cool too. But the way it's going to work is I'll basically use the 4050 or actually the Autoborn Sealer Clear to clear this. What will happen is the whole thing will be glossy, which isn't what I want. So what I'm going to do is after I'm done with the gloss, I'm going to use matte clear on the skull. The 40, hold on, matte, UVLS matte is 4052. So I'll airbrush that just on the skull. So what will happen is the tentacles will be all shiny and slick, and then the skull will be matte, and then, you know, areas that need to be shiny will be shiny, and then I'll just kind of do the same thing wherever I need to kind of go back and forth. But most of it, you know, the skull will be matte, and that'll be it. Now the trick with the gold leaf down below is that won't have any clear on it at all, because I'm thinking about using 24 karat for that to really make it pop. We'll see how that goes though. I may have to use imitation gold just to get it to kind of do what I want it to do, but I'll mess with that as we get closer. Yeah, so this umber just kind of goes in all the little dark areas. What's nice about these 3D prints is it basically, you know, we talk about like when I'm doing my paintings, like on flat panels, and I do the drawing, you know, then I know where to put the paint, right? Because the drawing is already there, or if I use the photocopies. The 3D print has the same thing going on. Because the 3D print has obviously all the cutouts and everything is where it should be, all you kind of do is accentuate that and make it look cooler. You know, so they're a lot of fun to paint, and it's a great thing to kind of mess with if you're starting out. Now, yeah, obviously these things are small, they take a little bit of control, but you can have a lot of fun with them, and if they don't come out exactly the way you want, you just Autoborn sealer them again and you do it again. You start over, you know? It's really fun, and you can just kind of mess with them. Simon Murray, yeah, Ian, you can, but you need a spray gun for that. So again, the bigger spray guns with a 1.2, 1.4 nozzle might be able to take sealer straight out of the bottle. But if you're going to be using an airbrush, you do have to reduce it. They recommend 10 to 15%. I can push it as far as 20%, and I haven't noticed any adhering problems, but I wouldn't go any higher than that. So, yeah. All right. I need to introduce some yellow in this because we had a lot of yellow ochre on this side to kind of really make it look like it's been underwater for a while. And I've been in New England, so I'm struggling not to say water. I would love that. Yeah, Gary, at the end of the day, if it's a win for everyone, I would love that. For instance, if, you know, if someone, you know, we work it out so that we get a new sub on YouTube. But again, you know, I don't know how to do that because I don't want to exclude the people who already have, all you guys already have subs to my channel and probably to Spray Gunner's channel. So I don't want to exclude people, you know, like you guys. So I got to talk to Artem, and we'll come up with something cool. But yeah, I've already made the decision that I'm giving it away. So last time we worked on this, I wasn't sure, but yeah, I am for sure. Water, Steve, it's water. Give me a cup of water. What I have found out, though, is that the country overall is starting to move away from calling Coke, like Coca-Cola. Here in Ohio, they call it pop, which I found very 50s and lovely. Where back in Massachusetts, it's called soda, but then I'm finding out that most of the country calls it soda. So I thought I was in the minority there with calling it soda, but it is. It's soda almost everywhere else except for the Midwest. It's not effing pop. That's so good. I know, it's so funny. I've been here now. I've been in Ohio for 5 years, which is hard to believe. This trip back, this past weekend when I went home, it really hit me. Like, I made a stop as I was, getting close to getting home, and the cashier gave me my change back, and she said, "Oh, here's whatever, $3.40," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's so fun!" It's like I remember that, and I know I still do, especially when I've had a couple beers, or I get talking really fast. I know that Boston comes out, but yeah, I know, Ian, it has really flown by a lot. So. All right, so I've got yellow ochre. I was actually doing stuff while I was yapping, so make sure you guys, I feel like it's not focused, but it is. Okay, so I've got yellow ochre here now. I'm going to do the same kind of thing. I'm just going to kind of roll mostly. What's going on here? Did I thin this out too much? Basically, what I'm going to do is when I get this going. Oh, Steve, that was the hardest one for me. That was the hottest one for me. Here in Ohio, they have drawers. But back in New England, you put all your, extra, like when you have a single spoon or a pencil, or that goes in the junk drawer. That took the longest for me. Like, to say car is pretty easy. Or when you say, park, you go park your car. I mean, I can get that. But for me, saying drawer was really, really hard. And in Massachusetts, the southernmost eastern state is called Florida. But here it's Florida. That took a while for me to get down too. It's pop in the Great White North. See, yeah, Bob, I think it's a Midwest Northern thing. Because I know with Marge back in Wisconsin, I think it's pop up there too. But down south, isn't everything Coke? I was talking to a friend of mine, Denise, and she's in the Navy. And when she was stationed down her parents came from Georgia, and New England, it would be Georgia. And she said everything is Coke. Like when you get grape, I don't know what to call it anymore. It's grape soda. When you get grape soda, it's grape Coke or whatever. I don't know. Drawing. Thank you, Gary. A drawing. I had a really hard time with that one. So I still call it a draw. All right, so again, with this yellow, the way this works, and it works with my paintings too, the farther you go, the less paint you put on. If you're putting on as much paint in the end stages as you were in the beginning, you're putting on too much paint. So I've got all the ochre. I don't want to bury that. I want to leave some of that in. So with the yellow, I'm just kind of picking little areas and just adding that yellow detail. And also if there's a spot that's really bright white, like the edge here, I'm hitting that with a little bit of ochre too, just to kind of calm that down. Wash. Yeah, and then, okay, so if you're from New England or know of New England, it is amazing how different the accents will get. Like my mom grew up in Boston, in the north end of Boston, and they have the Boston accent. Like that's where you get it. Same thing with South Boston, basically downtown Boston. But if you move out of Boston, like out into the suburbs, it's quick to lose that. Like my kids have some of it, but not like my mom. But then you go to East Providence, you go to Rhode Island, it's like a different planet. It's crazy. It's like this weird morph between New York and Boston. It's crazy. And it's not that far. It's like 40 minutes. Crazy. And then of course you go up to Maine, and it's you got that you know, that, I don't know, that Maine downeaster accent, which is a lot of fun. Do they have lobster in New York? I mean, Ohio. They do, but it's not anything you want to eat. And then, you know, I would say the same thing. Like if I went back to Massachusetts, you can get fresh corn or con in Massachusetts, but not like you can get here. You know what I mean? It's like every area of the country and every area of the world does something really, really well. So like, you know, seafood here is lake fish, like, you know, everything you get from Lake Erie and that kind of thing. It's amazing. It's amazing white fish, just amazing. But it's not like ocean fish, you know what I mean? So, but it's cool. Everything, you know, everyone's got their own thing. Cider. Come to Ohio, go to, yeah, barbecue is good. There's a reason why the average weight is what it is in Ohio. Everything is not good for you. Yeah, walleye, that is pretty good. Again, but there you go. If it comes off the boat and you cook it, it's going to be awesome, right? It doesn't matter what body of water it comes from. Body of water. So yeah. Mr. Anderson. A liter of Coke. It's not cola. Stop that, Scott. Water. It's Kyle, it's water. Yep, water. All right, what am I doing? I'm doing some brush work on this. All right, so what we did was to get that like algae look right there, we did a little bit of brush work. So that's what we're gonna do on this. This is actually coming along super fast. Do you guys want to see the brush work on that, or do you want to move on to something different? Because we already did that. I'll wait a second. You guys just do brush or different. If you want to keep working on the skull, type brush, or yeah, do brush. If you want me to move on to like the leather strap, I can do that. So you just type brush or different, and we'll do it. Deep fried cactus and scorpion lollipops. See, that sounds good, unless scorpion lollipops is like Rocky Mountain oysters. You know that. Weird food is great. Just tell me what it is. Don't screw around with me. Brush, brush, brush. Do whatever you want. Is that like Super Troopers? Another movie I really, really liked. Starship Troopers. Is that what you meant, or Super Troopers? Starship Troopers. All right. So far we have brush and do whatever you want. So that's really three skulls. So we'll do skulls. All right. Do I have this set up? Probably not, but we'll see. All right. There's all the brush stuff. Crab trap. And that's the other thing. Where Michael lives, it's crab. And it's really good crab. And that's what you go get. So, just going to work. No. Why isn't it going to work? Because it's not plugged in, Steve. It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything is fine. Don't worry about it. Just painting in black today. All right. It's really scorpion on lollipop. Steve, I'd like to think that I am, you know, I'll try anything. Oh man, I have a hard time with bugs, because what could go wrong? There we go. See, it works. I'll get this out of the way. Yeah, I don't know if I could eat bugs. Oh, I don't know. All right, so what do I need on here? I need brown on here to start. That's what we're doing. Yeah, I see all the like the chocolate covered crickets and all that. I just don't know, man. All right, so this is Wicked Opaque Brown. It's also too light. No, it isn't. We'll make it work. So I'm just going to start dabbing this in. And we're going to work in layers on this. So when you do stuff like this, it's okay to be like, oh man, I just screwed that up. Can you see what I'm doing? Can you see that? Maybe I'll turn it a little bit so you guys have a better view. Like if you look at that, it's like super brown. It's like right out of the bottle. And it looks kind of trashy. But that's okay, because this is how you learn how to do new things. Now, I know where we're going with this, so I know it's going to work out. But there's always that, oh crap moment. You know, it's like when you try something new, like I'll try to do some brush work on this and I'll use brown. And then you start and it's like, oh man, that's not really what I wanted at all. That's okay, because just like we talked about, if it doesn't come out, you can spray the whole thing black and start over again. You can always work on this. You can always keep like messing with it until it like conforms to what you had in your head. Honey's having a Jello shot. That's a good thing, honey. What flavor Jello shot do you have? When I'm forced to be on Survivor, I'll eat bugs. There used to be a great show on called Survivor Man. Bob, you might know. I don't know what part of Canada he was from, but everyone knows Bear Grylls or Grill Bears or whatever the hell that guy's name was. He was a joke. Like he would drink his own pee, and that's not how you survive. That's how you kill yourself. But this guy on Survivor Man, and his name eludes me right now. That show was awesome because they would like drop him in the middle of nowhere as if his plane went down. So he'd have some stuff from the plane, but not a lot. And then he'd have to survive for a week out in all these messed up places. And it was really fascinating because he really was, legit. So he would eat anything. He would eat bugs. He would eat, plants and dirt and whatever, would get him through. But I agree. That's the only way I would do that. Who was the only dude that hung out with bears and got eaten by him? Brian, that's called natural selection, which I'm a big fan of. One of my things, Bob, there you go. Redneck Lager, that's a good one. One of my favorite pastimes on YouTube is to, can you guys see this? You guys can't see this panel back here. I'll turn this. I'm just going to do the same thing on this little bit of skull that's popping in back here. I love watching videos of people stopping out west to take pictures of the buffalo, or people on one of those canned safaris, and they get out of their car to take a picture of the lion. That type of natural selection makes me really happy, and not because people get hurt, but because people are dumb. We are dumb. And we're desensitized to everything that's out there now, for the most part. So people do dumb things, and it's good that we get to see people do dumb things so that other people can kind of learn from that and don't do dumb things. Right, Brian. Because why is that? Because bears are wild animals. They're not domesticated. So yes, they're in circi, I guess. Or whatever, but they're not domesticated animals. They're people shouldn't have tigers and lions as pets. Period. Just it's dumb. It's like I don't know. It's cruel and it's dumb. All right, there we go. Tide Pods, exactly. I mean, like I said, I don't really want anyone to get hurt, but man, you're lining yourself up. All right, I'm going to use yellow ochre now. Do the same kind of thing. First, before I do that, though, you and I are going to turn this thing around and look at the other side, because if I don't, I'm just going to be making this up. It'll look fine, but it won't look like the other side, so I want to make sure. All right, I got some green in there. I got some yellow and some orange dots. And Bill, what's good, buddy? Yeah, Tide Pods are another great thing. Or the fact that they have to put on your coffee cup from the barista that your coffee is hot. They have to print that on there because some people, I guess, don't know or don't know what coffee is, and when they order it, they spill it all over themselves. I don't know. I don't get it. So, yeah, it's natural selection. They one of the things about being Homo sapiens is we've nearly eliminated our selection pressure from the environment. We've insulated ourselves from that. So we're, animals and we are animals, so everything evolves because of their environment. We have successfully turned that off because we are such good tool makers. We build our environment basically. So we need some form of selection pressure, and stupidity is a good one. 5-minute countdown. I love it. We're going to give away some paintings. We'll jump back on this, have some fun, talk more about why you shouldn't get out of your car and take a selfie with a water buffalo or a bison. Lovely. You see that? No, I can see it, but you can't. I'll have to turn this so that you guys can see it. So again, I'm just kind of going around some of the darker areas, the detail areas, and I'm using this yellow ochre to kind of pull some of those cracks and details out. So it's kind of twofold. It gives me this kind of algae base, this yellow, but it also lets me like kind of highlight some of the crests in his skull. It also helps me mask some of the topography of the 3D print, which I should have sanded off. But again, I started this thing not realizing that it was going to be what it's going to be. But the colors will help kind of hide that, the like I said, that it looks like a topographical map basically by the way it prints. So no, Scott, the points are still going on. You guys are steadily closing in on the way that's going to work. I was going to touch base with my son to kind of figure out how to post that. But what I'm going to do is there'll be a post on YouTube every week once I get my head out of my butt. Oops, you can't see what I'm doing. So you guys can check your points, and then I'll also have a page on there is also a page on my website, but I haven't updated it yet. So you'll be able to check the website or YouTube to see where your points are at. And then again, we talked about this last year. The point system is designed so that everyone who makes suggestions, even if you've already won, you can win another 543 during the year by just hanging out with us and participating the way you guys do. It's a way to say thank you for, sticking with us and doing fun stuff. So I haven't forgot it. We are keeping track of the points. I just haven't been able to get that up and running on the site. What do I got to do? Oh, real quick before we do the giveaway, is this way I can. Do I want to do the green? No, I don't want to do the green. All right, we talked about like kind of blending the tools a little bit, which is getting the strengths. So I'll show you what I mean here. So this side here has a subtlety to it that this side doesn't. This side feels real paintbrushy. So what I can do to kind of tone that down a little bit, and it's really easy, like say I did all that brush work, I'm like, oh, I hate it, now what do I do? So the solution is go back to the base color, which is here. This is that hard-boiled base, hard-boiled yolk color that I made up. Not for this, it was for something else, but. Oh, awesome, congratulations on the new digs. Hopefully it is everything you hope. It's awesome. Yeah, and what I'll do is I will also have on that page somewhere the people who have won have passed the point marker. So the points are, you have to get to 80, and you get them by making a suggestion. You make them by making suggestions every week. You also get them by super chats. So if you give me a super chat, you get extra points. And again, it's all me just saying thank you. All right, so there's that yolk color. And then what I've done is I've reduced it a little bit extra so it's pretty thin. Now what I can do is I can start in the open spot, and then I can just kind of really lightly just kind of move out with it. I don't want to spray the whole thing because I'll lose everything. So I want to start where there's no paintbrush work, get it started, and then I just want to kind of feather it out into this area that I've already done. Not down where it's darkest or anything like that. Just along the edge. And then what that does is it kind of it softens up that paintbrush work and then doesn't make it look as crazy. All right, so that's where we're gonna hold it right there. We'll give away a painting and then we'll do stuff. Oh, that's awesome. Back to normal work week, 7 a.m. to 3:30. That's awesome. Brian, I've never painted Johnny Cash flipping off, doing his that painting, that image has been done so many times. However, as a 543, I could get away with that, you know, because I've seen that on motorcycles and guitars and paintings, and that's one of those things. That's like the Lemmy picture, you know, the Lemmy painting. Okay, I'm gonna leave that there because I don't want to move it. We'll just show you the 3. We'll do the giveaway. We'll get it rolling. ROLIN apostrophe. Get that. There we go. Okay, so let's show you these. But before I do that, because I have like 255 43s, let's look at a few older ones. So here's the thing. You know, 543s, I try to have a bunch of stuff on the website. So, you know, stuff from like inexpensive stuff like prints to the lesser expensive stuff like the 543s all the way up to the full-blown paintings. So there's stuff for everyone. So if you're looking for a gift for someone or if you're looking for a gift for yourself, 543s make a lot of sense because you can kind of get into an original painting for not a lot of money. You know what I mean? If you're a member here on YouTube, you always get 10% off. Just use the code in you'll see the membership post when you become a member here. But like if you have that person who's hard to buy for Christmas, what's better than Scully Santa and his Coke, you know? Or if you have a recent graduate, you can give them the gift of art with their graduation thing. Again, these are all suggestions that you guys made, which is cool. Here's a 1959 Chevy Impala for your mechanic who never screws you over and always replaces your air filters for free. So give her a 59 Impala painting. If you know someone who just had a baby, we got this one here. This one's cool. You can't really see it, but there is a pink ribbon behind it. So it's a little safety pin, old school safety pin with it's a girl. And I call that Oh Baby Girl. When you get your coffee in the morning from your barista that never screws up your coffee and always pronounces your name correctly, give them a 543. It's awesome, right? The original art, this one's called Percolator. This one's from last June of 2024. So get that one. Again, if you win, you can choose one of these, or you can just go on the site and grab one. If you have a young child and you want to get them into getting really cool stuff early on, you know, buy them books, buy them hardcover children's books and sign them with your name and say I love you and that kind of thing. Or get them a piece of original art. This is Hungry Hungry Hippos, and that's Vegipotamus. But it's just, you know, like I said, I've got a lot of these, and there's just about every single topic that you could possibly imagine on there. And like I said, they make great gifts for other people. They make great gifts for you. If you know someone who needs a gift idea, send them my way, man. And it would mean a lot. All right, because again, that's really what keeps things rolling around here. That is what really does the job. You know, when artwork sells, I get to keep doing what I'm doing. Michael, I have to, because like I said, I was at the box, the 543 box the other day, and I'm like, oh, there's way too many of these. Way too many. Because not only, I have over 200 of them. Down in Lisbon, Mark at Source Gallery, he's got at least 100 of them down there. 75 to 100. So there are a lot of them. All right. I know, right? Brian, that's what we try to do. All right, let's do these. First off is Steve. Steve Butkus asked for the Siamese fighting fish. I also cleared that in the Audubon Sealer Transparent. You can see how glossy that is. I'll show you another 543 in a second that doesn't have that, but that helps bring that silver out. So as you move around, it really changes color. So that is the beta fish, Siamese fighting fish. Good job on that, Steve. This one is Ian Hart asked for Lara Croft. That's my Lara from Tomb Raider, and that's that one. That's a regular 543, and then the final 543 is Sean asked for Riddick. So that's my Riddick, and that's how that happens. So whoever wins tonight can choose one of these, or you can go on the site. If whoever doesn't choose one of these all go into that same 250 box. So if you want one of these, you can grab it right after the site. Poop. But you're going to have to wait because I haven't loaded them in. So it's going to take about 15 minutes to get these on the site after we're done. But yeah, they will go up on the site, whoever if they're not chosen. So let's get to it. The 7 on the list tonight are as follows. And Kyle, if you're still here, will you let James know that he already won? He won a few weeks ago, and I don't think he was here. So he's got to pick a painting too. So here's that's not it. That's my my note list on all that stuff. Where is my? There it is. Here it is. So there you go. Ian Harden at number 1, Patty, Wayne, Brian, Michael, Raul, and Motor McMatt was here last week. So he made a suggestion, so he's on the list too. Not last week, 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean. All right, so here we go. This one. Come on. Number 2, Ian. Oh! All right. So your winner this week is Patricia Cura. Patty, you won. Congratulations. Patty, hopefully you're still here. I know Chris is. So, Patty, if you'd like one of these, let me know. Today is 7/21. And there you go. Ian, you were so close. Michael, you already did win. All right, good. So I'm glad I didn't choose you. That sometimes happens. Thanks for being honest, Michael, because if that happens, then we'll just draw another one. But fortunately, it wasn't after Michael, because that would have screwed everything up. I would have just drawn it again. Nearly. You were that close, Ian. You were that close. All right, Patricia, if you want Lara Croft or Riddick or the beta fish, just let me know, and I will not put those up. I can't believe I didn't. Usually I have those already loaded up and ready to go, but I dropped the ball. Oh, that's because I wasn't around all day. That's why. Okay. All right, let's get at this thing. Scully McSkullface. Thanks, honey. All right. What is the next step on this? That's why I try to do things all at once, so I don't forget. I got white dots on that. I got orange dots. Oh, I got dark green. Okay. Ian is a new Kyle. Yes, I know, right? But we're getting there. And the good thing is because I'm throwing Ian some bones by doing all his suggestions, when he does win, he'll be able to pick one of his paintings, which is fun. Ian is a new Grumpy. I know, Grumpy was waiting for it for a while. All right, so I got to get that dark green in here now. And I think what I used was this... the Game Tech Scale Modeling Green, not this one. I think I used the olive colored one. Yeah, this one. This U.S. Interior Green. In fact, I remember I used this one. Yeah. I know, Scott. Yeah, you guys should have a lot in common. Is it going to work? Sure is. What I do is I put a little bit of the interior green right up there. So I remember I mixed that with black, so that's what we're going to do here to get kind of a... Oh, and I think I put some brown in it too. Yeah, that's it. A little more brown. I'm feeling burnt umber. And I haven't seen Tim on. Tim just posted a really great story, a scary story about how he almost knocked over a painting in a museum. No, that's not what I want. Yes, that is what I want. This is opaque burnt umber. So because I'm spending a lot of time at the Butler now, one of the guys said, which reminded me of what Tim was just talking about, he always says that sculptures are put in a museum as something to back into when you're looking at paintings. So while Tim, is horrified about his near disaster, it happens all the time. What I was surprised with Tim's story, though, is that there's a product that that I use to mount my paintings onto into the frame, and I got it because museums use it, and it's this product that I have. It's called Quake Hold, and it's like it's basically like a soft wax, but it's very sticky, and once you apply it, it's difficult to move, difficult to get off. So it's something that they put underneath like small sculpture pieces, because it will, if you bump into it, it won't fall off. I'm surprised that in that museum that they didn't have that on that little piece. So there's Patty. Patty, if you picked something and I missed it, let me know. You know how it works, though. You can go online and pick one of the other ones, and if there's, because you may have some suggestions in there too. And then just send me a message, a private message. Just actually, if you can, use the website. So you can send me a message through my website at stephenlaney.com, and that way I'll know I'll get it. Facebook has been terrible for messages too. So yeah, and then just what I need is your shipping address once you pick one. All right, so you see how this is a little bit darker brown? I didn't have to look, okay, good. Again, it's the same rule applies here. The farther I go along on this, the less paint I'm adding, but also the more dynamic the paint is. In that beginning pass, the brown was really like pale. It's just basically right out of the bottle. This is a lot darker and more in your face, so I don't want to put as much of this on there. I just want to kind of use it to add that texture here and there, and give that that little boost it needs. If I use too much of this, then it'll cover everything, and then it's just going to be blah. Sean from London Pen, what's up, brother? Like in here is a good example, and if I can turn this so you can see it, that might be better. Yeah, there we go. And then I'm going to focus this so you can see it again. Yeah, there you go. And you can really see the striations from the 3D print right there, because the light's hitting it just right. That's what I wish I had sanded off now, but all in all, it's going to be fine. I mean, with all the paint work and stuff, it's going to be buried pretty well. So see what I mean? Like I've got the brown on there and I've got the yellow. So with this darker brown, I just want to put a few spots on there just to kind of like give it something. If I go over the whole thing, I'll lose all the stuff I put on before. So keep that in mind. The farther you go, the less paint you put on. Now, if you feel like there's not enough entirely, you have to go back. So I'll go back to the yellow. Say this area just wasn't hitting me right. It just doesn't look like there's enough there. I'll just go all the way back to that yellow ochre first and put more of it on there, and then repeat the steps. I won't try to make up the difference in this darker color now, because it'll just be disaster. I know it looks like a fingerprint, but it's not. It's actually the layers of the 3D print. I've got a lot on the side here. I didn't realize that. All right, see, that's why we turn it. So you can see what's going on. Actually, I may turn it head on so you guys can see both sides. Keeping the camera focused on 3D stuff is fun. So this is a perfect example. Like I came all the way around with this, and I didn't realize that because I wasn't really paying attention. So I'm going to jump back to the yellow ochre and push that along here now. Because I can't do this, like I said, I can't just use the dark brown to fill in the gaps, because it's just not going to look right. I've got to jump back to this yellow ochre. And it blends in nice, like if I have to go back into what I've already done, it's okay, because I've already got it there, The idea, again, is to make it look like it's this skull that's been underwater for a little bit. Not crazy, but just enough. All right, that's good. Let that dry. And again, I just got to go through the steps. So the next step was the brown by itself. Or maybe the brown was first, but in these two colors it doesn't really matter, because they kind of blend together anyway, so I don't have to worry about that. Sean, I did one of your suggestions already. So I'll do more. It's not that I'm saying I'm not going to, but I just saw your name pop up, and you had a suggestion that I painted tonight. Now, when you say drumsticks, what do you mean? Do you mean the ice cream or the musical instrument accessory or the chicken leg? All of which would make a great painting. Sean, I have done a Les Paul before. I love painting guitars. So while I've done just about all the heavy hitter guitars, I would totally be down for doing more of those. So again, if you're new, you can, even if I have already done it, even if it's already on the website, you can still make that suggestion. It still counts. However, like if you make a suggestion, I'll give you a little, behind the scenes here. If you make a suggestion and I have that painting already on my site, then I'm not going to paint it again. You know what I mean? Like if someone wanted Darth Vader and I had a Darth Vader on there, I'm going to wait till that one goes before I, consider doing another one, just so we don't have a bunch of the same stuff on the site. However, you can still suggest it. That's totally fine. It'll still get you, your chance to win. But that's just kind of how it goes. All right, what's next? I think I did a lot of that with airbrush, but there is those little orange dots there. I know. I love when you guys talk about food. Let's put the orange dots in first. Patty, yay! I'm so glad. Yeah, everything went out. Everything went out except for my buddy Les. Les's painting goes out tomorrow. All right, so I've got bright orange here. I think that's what I used. So we're going to do it. And then this was supposed to be those flowery outcroppings on algae. So we'll put a few of those in here too. The spacesuit, I can't talk. Spacesuit Jesus is a great suggestion. I love it. James, you did win. So yeah, so you can go online and pick one. Patricia gets first dibs on everything tonight until the end of the feed, but if she doesn't want, one of the ones from tonight, you can choose one of those. James, so send me a message on my website. So all you do is go to stephenleahy.com. You can go to the contact me, or the little chat box opens up. For those wondering, the chat box does have an AI feature, which Wayne found out. I didn't even know they did it, which is fine. But please know that, your actual questions do go right to me. I do see them. So while it seems like you're being funneled around by an AI, I will see them eventually. So you can ask your questions there, and I'll do it. But you can send me a message through that messenger on the website, or you can just go to, I bumped the print and knocked the paint off. Or you can just go to the contact me thing, and that works too. He does kind of have measles, but that's okay, because he lives in Texas. See what I did there? Jeebus. Again. Measles was wiped out. We didn't have measles. And then some people decided not to vaccinate for them. That's like not vaccinating for polio. It's like polio wasn't a thing anymore. Kids died. People were in wheelchairs their whole lives because of polio until they found a vaccine for it. And then we didn't have polio anymore. Measles were the same way. What the hell are people doing? Anyway, let's not get into that. That's not what we're here for. All right, so there you go. So there's how we're looking. Oh, I've got a lot more black on there. Okay, good. So we'll end this with me just kind of finishing up with the black. So the last thing I did was I really pushed the dark area first. Yes, I'm going to try that because I don't even know what happens with that robotic Steve thing. AI Steve. Thanks, Brian. I really enjoyed them tonight. All right, so this is just straight up opaque black, but it's also reduced to hell. So I'm going to use this to kind of catch up where the value is for this. So if you look at this side, I'll spin this around. So wait, I'm trying to take a mental note of, make sure we're focused. Hocus pocus. There we go. All right, so take a mental note of the value, especially out near the back and in this section, right? And then when I turn this around, see how much, oh, it's glossy, but see how much darker that is right on the edge? So I got to get that going on the other side. And then it'll be pretty much there, which means the skull is pretty much done, which I'm excited about. So we need to be about there. Really? I get grumpy. I got to go on and find out what the hell that thing is doing. All right, let's see what we got here. Caches from Andor. See, Sean knows what buttons to push. Total freaking nerd I am. Andor was scary for me because I thought Rogue One was one of the best. No, I'll take that back. It is the best post original Star Wars movies, period. So episodes, like A New Hope and Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back, those are obviously canon. Rogue One is right after that. It beats out all the Anakin stuff. It definitely beats out the garbage, Disney stuff. Rogue One, I love that movie. So when they announced Andor, I'm like, they better not screw this up for me. And so far so good. So again, here we go. Like I said, this black now is the most intense color that I put on this thing so far. So this gets put in the least. You know what I'm saying? I'm just kind of tucking in those real deep corners, like up the top here where the tentacles pop out. I keep wanting to say testicles, but you don't want your testicles popping out. Also right in the deepest areas of the corners here, those get it. And then anywhere where it's really like tucked in. Now what this also does is it also is going to, when I get to the strap, which is going to be a bright color, I think maybe orange up here, I haven't decided yet, but whatever it is, it's going to help that pop off from the skull too and separate because I got this dark area in there. Dune, yeah, Brian, I like the new Dune movies a lot. I just think they've fallen into the we need to make 3 movies trap. Lord of the Rings pulled it off, and I think that's where it came from. Like the Lord of the Rings was great as 3 movies. Dune did not need to be 3 movies. And that's unfortunate because I really love the cast. Let me rephrase that. I like the casting. I like all of the cast members. I love what they did with the story, but it's just way, way too dragged out now. Exactly. What the heck? All right, so there we go. So I'm feeling really good about that. I got to put some black on the top, but I'm not going to do that now because I want to show you one quick thing because I promised. And I'll have to redo this later, but get the idea. So there's that little screw right there. See if I can get it so that you guys can see it. So this Molotov stuff, I'm going to pour this out so you can see it. And I know I've showed you guys this before. I learned about this from watching Tested, which, again, this is on YouTube. So Adam Savage from Mythbusters mentioned this stuff. And it's called Liquid Chrome Mirror Effect. And it's by Molotov. It's not W, it's an M. Molotov. And this is the refill for, I think, a pen that they sell. It's crazy. So let me pour this out a little bit so I can show you what this looks like. And when they say it's like liquid chrome, it is literally like liquid chrome. So if I put a couple drops out, I mean, it looks like a little, I'll focus it so you can see it, but it looks like a little drop of solder. And it's liquid. Like I don't want to move it around too much because I'll end up dumping it. But you take this and then you grab your paintbrush. It especially works well with small areas like screws and things like that. Did I finish the front of him? I think I did. Yeah, we'll do both of this. So you can grab your paintbrush, which works. I haven't airbrushed with this stuff yet, so I don't know how it airbrushes. I should try that. But then as you put this on, you just kind of let it flood the area you're painting. And no kidding, when you're done, hopefully you can see that. That little screw looks like it's chrome. So let me show you what I'm going to do here in the front too. I'm going to do, like, after doing Pinhead for Gary, I want to put some rivets just like right up the front of his skull. I don't want to do this, so I could do this right. I'm going to readjust the camera in a second. Give me a second, because I got to make sure I'm in the right position for this. Nice, Steve. Yeah, everything's good. I want to make sure I still had the camera on. I mean, the mic on. Yeah, I haven't airbrushed in a bit, so that's why. All right, so focus that so you can see. Well, hopefully this will work. If not, again, this is one of those things. I'm going to try it. If it doesn't look good, I'll have to cover it. But what could go wrong? So again, I'll load up the paintbrush. And then let's start right in the middle. Yeah. I'm going to make it bigger. But if you, what are you doing right now? Do that. Did that move? Yeah. Shoot. Sorry, guys. Get that back for you. There we go. Okay. Better. Yeah. Now the only problem is, not really a problem, but it's alcohol based, so I just use my fancy Winsor & Newton brush, which is, you know, a natural based, or, you know, a red sable brush. So what I have to do is immediately I need to grab a little bit of rubbing alcohol and clean this brush out, get all that out. Because if this dries in here, this brush is pretty much done. So you clean all that out, you can rinse it out, and you're ready to go. But now you've got, I'll turn this so you can see it, but these look like I can take this right out. Why don't I do that? Honey, have a great night. You're awesome. So there we go. So now I've got these like little rivets that are in his skull. And they're chrome. They look just like real rivets. So there you go. All right, so Honey's out. It's a good time to stop. Patricia won. That's awesome. Give me about 15 minutes, since Patricia didn't choose any of the ones from tonight. I'll give you about 15 minutes to put them on the site. I can't believe I forgot to do that, but it was a crazy day. So I'm going to move all the cameras around so you guys don't have to do that, and I'll switch back to this and we'll be good. Again, thank you so much to the people who super thanks. Again, I'll put my salesman hat on. The way that I get to keep doing this is by you guys buying art, you know, including it in your collection or letting other people know what I do. That's really what keeps things going around here, and I cannot say enough how amazing you guys are. So thank you. What else we got? This week, Time Lapse Tuesday will go off without a hitch tomorrow. Wednesday, there will be an open studio. It might be live, depending on what happens tomorrow. And then the other, well, unfortunate note for me is I I'm not going to be going home this weekend. I was going to be going back to Massachusetts, which means the feed would have been messed up next week. So the good news for you guys is I'll have the feed next Monday as usual. So we're going to just keep rolling along. I'll come up with a cool project for next week too. And that's what I got. All right. That's what I got. And yeah, so there we go. All right. Be good to one another. Take care of everyone. Don't be mean. Don't pet the water buffalo. And I will catch you guys next week. All right. Have a great week.